Hello. Some lovely young friends very kindly made a bumper intro to my podcasts. I'm very touched by that. And so from now on, this will be how my podcasts are introduced. I hope you like it. Let me know. Thank you.
This is Spiritual Reality Plainly Seen, the podcast that takes a look at spirituality in our lives and the world around us. Here's your host, Dr. Frank Kaufmann.
Good morning. I'm Frank Kaufmann. I've put together a little piece this morning which I've entitled Love Code. It draws from a very simple sentence I came across that somehow turned things fairly upside down for me, as usual, typical some little thing said or observed or taken for granted, and suddenly it speaks to me a whole universe of fundamental awakening to something right dead in the center of life, some of the most important possible things of what living is all about, and it comes in a single word or two. So this friend of mine, this young fella, who, as I report all the time, has been a teacher of mine for much of my life, and I read him fairly regularly, and same thing happened to me again on this little patch of writing of his. So I'm going to read it. He's sitting in front of a crowd of people who want to be taught by him. And it's a very pleasant atmosphere. And he starts out this little soliloquy or little disquisition of his, which he goes, everyone wants love, right? Yes, everybody else. Yes, okay. True love? Yes, okay. What is love to you, he asks. And then people in the crowd, individuals, are hollering out all different things about what they view love is, or trying to give answers, whether some are religious, some are romantic. And he goes, can you help me out? Let me hear your opinion. What is love for you? What is love to you? And people are shouting stuff out, and he's listening and pondering, repeating, and okay, this goes on. And then someone in the crowd says, living for the sake of others. He goes, good, all right, picks that one. He picks that one out of the many things shouted out. Living for the sake of others. Can we all agree on that? Is that the definition of love? So he picks that one. I happen to like that one myself. And so then from there, and here's the part I want to read, and here's the part which caused this podcast. So life is an offering, right? Love is an offering. When you want to make a vow of love and you open your hearts in matrimony, you make a vow to care, to cherish, to love till death do us part and beyond. Basically that. It's the offering of each other. Okay, that's the part that catches me off guard. All of us are familiar with the ideal of love, in which I myself am living completely with no thought of self and completely for the happiness of the object of my love. Since I'm a man, then the object of my love is a woman. I want only just for every nanosecond of this lady's life to be filled with peace, happiness, freedom to create. I want everything good for her. And if it's going to cost me a little of my comfort, a little of my sleep, a little of my money, a little bit of what I might otherwise prefer to be doing, whatever that's going to take, quote unquote, cost me, I'll always pick her happiness over mine. That's the definition of love, living for the sake of others. And in matrimony, when you're married and the object of your love is finally decided upon, and that's the person to whom you're going to now live in this fashion, that's the person I've selected to be the one whom I'm most specifically, most abundantly, and most without kind of madly devoted to her happiness, her well-being, her health, everything possibly good for her sake. That's the one. That seems fairly obvious, that if you are dedicated to loving someone or being in a loving relationship or being married, one might say that's obvious, but I don't think necessarily it is obvious. I think people have all kinds of calculus of how much I should give and how much I should be happy and how much I should be satisfied and so on and so forth. So even that's a biased account of what love is, but that's the one I picked. That's the one I like best. The woman whom I have settled upon, or who has been given me by God or heaven, or whatever way that happened, that becomes the person whose welfare is more important than any other possible, even tiniest thing that I prefer for myself. That's love. Okay. So maybe that's a step up for some of the listeners who think, well, love is a little bit kind of fulfilling myself, and this person should also care for me and understand me. And my view is that all that I gain comes in spades without me having to worry about it. If I'm living in a loving way, all that does is produce a veritable avalanche, a tsunami of all the things that I think I want to conditionally protect, that I should feel loved or I should feel understood or things like that. Those derive from me just dedicating myself to the welfare of the person whom I decided to love, to be the object of my love, that this is the canvas of my love. And so this writer, this friend of mine, says, he recites a typical marriage vow: to care and cherish, to love till death do us part. And he goes, and then he says, basically it's the offering of the other. And this is what I think is really a fascinating and exciting thing that kind of crashed in on my mind, is that the person whom I'm loving, their welfare, their happiness, their sense of fulfillment, their sense of freedom, their sense of affirmation, their opportunities to create, if they paint, that the whole world supports their painting, that everything I do is for their painting. If they dance, if they sing, if they're a nuclear scientist or whatever, it's all that enriches and fulfills their life is my project. It's my offering. I may be lousy at it. I may be in this poor girl's way half her life, all the time, stumbling around, getting it wrong. I'm not calling her life my masterpiece, but so far as I'm concerned, that's my masterpiece. That's my offering. The only thing I'm trying to do is produce a person who is glorious beyond measure, who's 1,000 times better as a result of having met me. Who knows? I may suck at it, as I say. I may hold her back. I pray I don't. But the purpose of my life is that this person is my offering, so that if someone looks at her and says, "My oh my, you're awfully peaceful. You're awfully happy. You're awfully content. Things seem to go your way. You seem to be able to have time in your life to do the things that are important to you." Then if I were doing a good job, it should say, "Yeah, thanks to Frank, he's always looking out for me. He's always trying to create that. So thank him." Yeah, if I seem happy, thank him. If you like the painting I just did, thank him. Yeah, it's my talent. It's my God-given talent. It's my industry. It's all my hours and years of staying up late and killing myself and learning the shadows and perspectives and lines and palettes. And yeah, I did it, but in a certain way, it's his masterpiece. If I was married to some kind of goof or jerk or who's demanding of me all the time that I understand him and take care of him and what about me and what about, then I don't even know if I would have gotten a single painting out in this whole time of being married. So the idea, and that's what I'm repeating here, that I picked up in this reading that I just read, when he recites the marriage vows and he goes, that's basically what it is. It's basically that. It's the offering of each other. And the idea of creating an offering, this is the thing which caught my attention and my fascination and my delight. Because when I produce something, and I'm sure all the listeners and all of you are the same. When you produce something, you want it to be good. If you come running into the living room with your guitar and say, "Listen to this, listen to this," you want it to enrapture the people. They put down their book, put down their magazine, click mute, turn off the TV. All right, listen. And you want what you've stopped them to play for them to be infinite, to be rapture. Oh my God. That is incredible. Did you write it down? Did you tape it? That's you? You want, that's an offering. You're offering your music. You want people to listen. You want it to be the absolute best. The absolute best. Or if you've written an essay, or if you work on an assembly line and you're sewing together the leather on Ferrari car seats, whatever, you want it to be the best. That's your offering. I put in 8 hours a day on this assembly line. My offering is that when someone sits down in that Ferrari, oh my God, they've never had an experience like that before. When they're coursing through the mountains and the curved roads and things like that. I want my offering. I don't want it to be shabby. I don't want it to be half-baked. I don't want it to be a poor job. It's my offering, for goodness sake. If you're a religious person, then you'll really know what I'm talking about. You're going to show up to the altar with God, God's altar, God, the all-seeing, all-knowing, all-perfect, all-loving, and we're going to show up at the altar with some kind of half-baked offering that I slapdashed together at the last minute because I forgot I was... That's no way to be on anything, for anything, ever, anywhere, ever. If there's something that's an offering, I want it to be perfect. I don't want, like, if I'm going to like polish silver, I want it to shine to the ends of the earth. I want it to be perfect. It's my offering. I'm setting the table. I'm having guests for dinner. I want them to like almost not want to eat because I don't want to get this fork dirty. Oh my God, this is so beautiful. Like that. Anything that is your offering, you want it to be the best. And okay, that's fine. That's polishing forks. That's sewing leather seats into Ferraris. These are negligible things. They're negligible things. But if you're talking about something so absolutely important as love and marriage, how much more would you want that, at least that, to be your most perfect thing? Not slapdash, not half-baked, not goofily done, not done at the last minute. And so when this guy writes that your marriage partner is your offering, that did I give enough? Did I do enough? Did I serve enough? Did I love enough? Did I care enough? Did I hug enough? Did I, each and every little part of, I'm creating an offering here. I want God to look down on this woman and see this woman as my offering. And I don't want my offering to be crap. I don't, and the only thing I'm trying to do here is love. Live for her welfare. And I don't want to do a crap job at it. It's my offering. I'm putting my wife on the altar. And the all-knowing, all-seeing, all God of all, the perfect God. He's not gonna miss things. He's not gonna say, "Whoa, that's pretty good, nice job." He sees and knows everything. The infinite, the infinitely true, is the absolute assessor of what's really the case. And so, love and marriage, the most important thing of all, ever, anywhere, period. And one's offering, what one puts on the table, what one brings to the game, what one brings to the field, what should be exquisite. It should be your absolute best. And so you bring those two together. And so when the guy I read says he recites the marriage vows and he goes, you're offering each other. What a cool kind of secret to marriage. If you could stumble into the middle of that marriage, you're in the middle of something quite lucky and quite good and quite interesting. Man, oh man, I want to see what these two people produce. This looks serious. This looks really like a piece of work going on right here. that they're trying to make of the other, their offering to show whether their love itself is any good. Very cool. Very cool. And if children are looking up to that going on, think of them. Think of their lives if they're seeing that. So anyway, a simple word, a simple half a sentence where he says, what is it? He says, it's the offering of each other. A simple single half sentence. Just kind of turned my world upside down and made me worried for the time that's left. But thank God I have a little time left. All right, that's what I called love code. It's somehow something that struck me as a single word that suddenly helps almost every imaginable situation in the extremely challenging life and universe of building of love and marriage and building family. Thank you very much for listening. I'll be back with you again soon.